The digital attention economy functions as a hyper-optimized logistics network. It operates like a physical distribution empire, moving and slotting human narratives into place as its primary inventory. The baseline unit of this inventory is the trope. This is a storytelling shortcut, a device that you instantly recognize. It bypasses the need for exposition because your brain already recognizes the pattern. The underlying mechanics remain identical whether the end product is a cinematic adventure film or a deceptive political tweet. The system relies on these same structural triggers to secure engagement. We are mapping the architecture of this media empire. We will trace the supply chain from the rigid parameters used to manufacture empathy to the natural language processing models that currently struggle to detect when these tools are weaponized. Understanding modern media requires analyzing it as a logistical supply chain designed to deliver engineered emotion. The foundation of this supply chain rests on historical folklore. These cultural archetypes have been tested on human psychology for centuries. Consider the myth of the black dog. Folklore across continents has long treated it as an omen of death. Today, that myth is a modular storytelling device used to generate immediate audience dread. This exact folkloric baseline appears in the 2025 film Good Boy, which premiered to major audiences at South by Southwest. The film relied so heavily on pre-programmed psychological responses to the dog that the animal actor won awards over highly trained human performers, including Sally Hawkins. The animal relied on the audience's ingrained cultural reflexes rather than complex acting. Adventure movies use the ancient prophecy trope in a similar way. Scripts use standardized physical MacGuffins like a shaman's medallion or a stone calendar to establish high stakes without writing original lore. Legacy media utilizes these tropes because they are predictable, frictionless units of psychological engagement that guarantee a return on investment. Automated, industrialized algorithmic generation is now replacing the human-directed approach. Manufacturing empathy at scale requires highly rigid, parameterized constraints. These systems replace subjective artistry with strict mathematical blueprints. Prompt engineering rules used for rescue stories on platforms like Scribd demonstrate this rigidity. The system mandates a slow, cinematic dolly shot positioned exactly 1 meter above the ground, pushing toward a hyper-realistic puppy. The algorithm follows hard-coded biological requirements for the character. The instructions demand large, watery blue eyes and a vulnerability appearance to trigger a protective response from the viewer. These visual guidelines enforce exact camera continuity. The prompts require a 35mm lens and an f1.8 aperture, locking the depth of field to simulate a visceral connection to the subject. While public perception often views AI as a creative engine, the system operates through the inflexible execution of exact physical and biological prompts. This feeling of an organic, emotional connection is the result of a hyper-optimized mathematical formula designed for maximum psychological retention. These same narrative constraints are now weaponized in deceptive online political discourse. This chart tracks deceptive tropes across vaccine and immigration datasets. Skepticism towards authority makes up 9.4% of vaccine discourse, cross-pollinating into topics like border control. Similarly, the natural is better trope is weaponized identically against both mRNA vaccines and agricultural science. The supply chain uses the scapegoat trope to bypass complex systemic issues. Deceptive content focuses the audience's blame on a single, visible entity, like Vladimir Putin, as the primary cause of distress. Deceptive online campaigns hijack the distribution channels of ancient, standardized human tropes, rather than inventing new arguments. Researchers attempt to regulate this supply chain through automated computational fact-checking, driven by large language models. This F1 score bar chart illustrates the difficulty of trope detection. Open-weight models like Llama 3 struggle with nuanced tropes like hidden motives, failing to identify subtext. Meanwhile, models like GPT 3.5 suffer extreme sensitivity to prompt variations, causing baseline inaccuracy and false positives. False positives involving the too fast trope demonstrate these failure points. The AI misinterprets literal syntax. If it reads the word experimental in a benign historical context, it flags the text as deceptive, missing the actual human intent. We have industrialized the creation of manipulative tropes, while we lack the algorithmic sophistication to reliably detect them in real time. This logistical loop runs from folkloric raw materials to parameterized manufacturing, through weaponized distribution, and into a detection bottleneck. The system flawlessly executes instructions designed to exploit ingrained cognitive shortcuts. This algorithmic system maintains an economic moat by mathematically optimizing the delivery of ingrained human biases rather than generating novel ideas. Because current detection models struggle with context and nuance, analyzing the mechanics of this supply chain provides a method for identifying these manufactured narratives. These tropes have become the active, programmable infrastructure of the digital age.